Welcome to r/entitled people, where we share stories from your lives about people who think the rules don't apply to them, and they should get what they want. Thank you, friends, for subscribing to the channel, and for so many likes. And today we have 3 great stories, so subscribe, hit the like button, and let's begin. The first story. The dude didn't want to give me a discount and called me a bum. I got a 50% discount and got him fired. The second story. I leave the company and they can lose the project for $3 million because there's no one to replace me. The third story. Saving on $2 an hour seems minuscule to me, compared to the dumpster fire they're sitting in right now. The first story is, I would like those headphones. Can you give me a 10% discount? Then what about 20%? Surely 30% is fine. Let's just settle at 50%. So a few years back, I was getting in the wonderful world of being a broken college student, and I had earphones until I did not. I heavily depend on having music or any sort of noise playing the whole day to be a barely functioning adult, so I picked the habit of save coins every time I had a chance, just to be sure that once needed I had the money to get something decent. I went downtown to get some wireless headphones. I already knew where I wanted to buy since I already knew the lady in front, and she was nice enough to give me a discount. However, that day the store was out of headphones, and I was not wasting money on some earphones or wired headphones that I know won't survive my daily routine. So I asked the lady, and she told me to visit this place that was at the other corner of the street, with 2 floors and like 5 or 7 tellers on each one. This is important. The only catch was they only sold used and refurbished stuff by the owners or associates. So I arrived and started checking the audio section and saw one I liked, asked the closest guy near me for the price, and asked for a discount. It's a common thing, and since this was not a chain store, you'll always expect a higher price, so they're open to negotiation. And he says, cocky seller, listen kid, this may be a refurbished store, but we don't go around throwing discount to any hobo that comes here. Come again when you have the money to pay for it. Me, dude, I just saw someone taking a case and asking for a 50%, and the other guy sold it. Cocky seller, listen, we can sell with a discount if we want, and you're not getting those with a discount, so go away and bring some money instead of beg for it. So I went out and tried to find something else. The thing is, they were also the cheapest option, and the ones selling the other stores, so if I wanted a good price, it had to be in that store. So I go back once again, but this time I wait in the entrance so one of them tries to sell to me. One of them recognized me, so he knew what I was looking for. He then picked the same ones the other guy tried to sell me and says, so I can sell you these for, let's go with 100. Reference price, not the real one. What do you think? The thing is, the other guy said they could go no lower than 115. So I took the chance and said, I mean they look good and all, but that's kinda over my budget. Sure you can't give me a discount? Seller, sure, maybe 75. Listen, that's the lowest I can go. Sure, that sounds good. Since it was peak hour, the guy calls another one and says, seller, take these to the cashier and tell her it's 75. Errant boy then takes them and goes with me upstairs without knowledge that was already a discount price. So I thought it would be funny and shot again on the way up. Hey man, I know what that guy said, but I was wondering if there's a chance of a discount or something. Errant boy, I mean usually that is something you should ask the sellers, but sure, maybe 65. Yeah, that sounds good. We arrive and he gives me a ticket and leaves the headphones with a price and a paper and my ticket number. After 3 or 4 minutes, it's my turn, and on the way there I think, would be pretty funny if I ask again and they lower the price again. So I ask again with the dumbest joke I could come up with. Hey, I'm kinda short, so maybe you could take that prize down to my size. Cashier. Hey, at least I tried. Cashier. You know what? Let me ask. She then screams to the other side of the wall. Cashier. Hey, guy name, is this guy with some headphones from the refurbished section at 65? Can we lower to 60 or what? Guy on the back. If he takes the cord that lady bring earlier at $2, sell it for 50. At that point, there was no way I would say no. I paid and almost immediately connected them to my phone. On the way out, the cocky seller saw me with them, so he comes and grabs me by the arm and says, cocky seller, where do you think you're going with that merch? You have to pay for that, and I'm sure you're too poor to even afford to look at them. I take the receipt out and show it to him, which he replied, cocky seller, I don't care about that piece of paper. I'm sure you brought something else and then took these. We're going to the office to call the police. We went upstairs and the guy that was in the back was with the cashier who pointed at us. So when we went by them, the guy asked what was happening and got this reply. Cocky seller, I found this young man stealing. He clearly bought something else and later went and picked up these headphones. The guy, oh really? And why do you think that? Cocky seller, there's no way our sellers could be so dumb to throw away these at 50. and I already told him the price was $115. Me, you did not. You just called me a hobo and a beggar. The guy, don't tell me. After a few seconds, he then said, the guy, well, I'm glad you know we have the best sellers here. However, I can assure you he did not steal them, since I was the one who took that prize down, you know? At that moment, I swear to God, I saw his soul leaving his body. The guy, also as you said, he is a beggar and a hobo. Thankfully, I have a really considerate client service department, and you're gonna give $2 that he paid for the cord he took with the headphones, don't you? The seller, but why would... The guy, I mean, it would be a real shame if he submitted a complaint about being called hobo and treated as a thief by our sellers, right? Am I right? I think the most logical steps on that case would be to fire that person. The seller then took the money from his pocket and gave it to me, so I left once the guy took a quick look at my headphones, but he stayed talking to the seller. A few weeks later, I went by and the seller was nowhere to be found on the first floor at least, and now everything had a price tag attached. Dude, you're a genius, and you're so effing lucky. I love it. Discounts all the way around and no one talks to anyone. What a weird store concept. It sounds perfect. I want to do that too. That case where you go through levels, the further you go, the harder it is to get burned and get back to the first one, but the reward is worth it. By the way, if they were originally $115 and you bought them for $50, that's over 50% off. That guy who called you a bum sucks. He's a GD salesman and his job to sell, not scare away customers with their stupid comments. The fact that he was fired is just fine because he deserved it. The second story is, owners did not want to give me what I deserved. Now they're about to lose a $3 million contract because I resigned. I'm a young project manager for an unlimited commercial GC. I picked up a hammer for the first time 6 years ago. No prior experience. I was raised believing if you work hard and apply yourself, you'll be successful. For 2 years, I learned everything that I could in the construction industry. Took my work home with me and studied on my own time to better myself. For that, I was promoted to foreman. I was brought in to take over a small project at a 12-building, 120-unit condo complex. It started small and the board of directors for the HOA told me they loved my professionalism, work ethic, and ability to complete projects on time and under budget. We won a big contract because of that small project. That was 3 years ago. I've since taken over the job of foreman, superintendent, and project manager. I do the billing, meetings with engineers and board members, scheduling, takeoff, material ordering. I even train the subs on application of new products because we didn't have enough mid-management. The project just passed $2.7 million. We got a bid request for another $3 million job in the same complex. All the while, the board of directors telling me how appreciative they are and how they've gone through 5 different contractors in the years before committing to my company because of my management and quality of work. This boosted my confidence and I went to the owners asking for the raise they promised me 1 year ago for my production. They told me the experience you're gaining is far more valuable. I said you're right. I put my resume on public, got contacted by a headhunter, just accepted an offer this week for $80K a year salary, full benefits, 28 days PTO including holidays, in the office now. No more working from the field full in my own truck. Laptop, Wi-Fi in my truck for on-the-go billing when I visit the out-of-state projects, $80 per diem, 100% matching 401k for the first 3 years of my employment, quarterly bonus programs. The company I'm with now only pays me $40K, and that's it. None of the above-listed benefits. The final nail in the coffin was when the owners bragged about how much my project made in a company meeting, and then denied me a Christmas bonus. I laid this offer on their desk Friday and watched their jaws hit the floor. I told the HOA board president of the project I'm running about my resignation when they couldn't match my offer. His eyes got big and requested a meeting with the owners and expressed serious concern about moving forward with the new project without my involvement. They didn't have anyone to replace me, and I'm not gonna lie. It feels good to hurt their pockets when I gave them everything I had for 6 years and only asked for the median project manager salary. F those greedy bees. Edit. A lot of people seem to think I'm lying or exaggerate, so let me clarify a few things. I began this company as a worker, ended up dating one of the owner's daughters, and am now engaged to marry. I'm not exaggerating about my current pay. It's $21 an hour. I feel he uses the family excuse as a reason to keep me underpaid. Dude is a classic narcissist. I've taken this to his business partner and he said that my soon-to-be father-in-law has sole control over my pay. They gave me the position and responsibility of project manager without the pay, so after taxes it's more like $33K a year. I stayed with them out of fear of the unknown. It was ultimately my fiance who gave me the courage and confidence to leave. The new position I accepted is for assistant PM, not sole PM. It comes with a hefty pay increase and I'm happy about that. The experience you gain is much more valuable. For whom? For other companies? This is figuratively speaking, them telling you it'll be cool for you when you leave us. That's probably the stupidest thing I've ever read. But now they'll lose a lot of money. The experience they will gain is much more valuable. Don't treat your valuable employees this way. If they've worked hard at this job for 6 years and achieved these results, you have to reward them so that they have the desire to keep making your company millionaires, or they will leave, as happened in this story. My advice to you, OP, when you leave is to publicly thank the person who told you what the experience you gained was worth, for inspiring you to find bigger and better opportunities. And the last story is, I hope $2 an hour is worth $1 million in losses. I was the general lab supervisor in a hospital laboratory for a corporate-owned hospital. F corporate hospitals. While I'm at it, F corporate laboratories. I was pretty much the glue that held the place together because the director had too much on her plate to be everywhere she needed to be, and I was friendly and personable with everyone. I started my career here as a volunteer, so a decade later I knew the place inside and out. My boss retired and was replaced with someone who had good experience and credentials on paper. He came in with lots of promises, and was recommended by some of the C-suites. In hindsight, I shouldn't have ignored that red flag. So the structure we had was the lab director, then the supervisors, myself, microbiology soup and blood bank soup, then the lab scientists, technicians, and phlebotomists. I had one newly promoted lead scientist to help me, and that position took forever to get, for an extra $2 an hour. So the finance department told us we're over budget for the quarter and needed to make cuts. It doesn't feel right because staff is overworked and I had to jump in to help regularly. I asked to see how finance calculated the labor budget and was told it was set by corporate. I sneaked a look at it anyway and looked like the productivity data is incorrectly calculated. The per unit cost is correct, but they failed to adjust the overhead for indirect quality control costs, calibration, QC, troubleshooting, proficiency testing, training, education, etc. I brought this up and was told good luck getting corporate to change it. In the end, they demoted my lead lab scientist to save $2 an hour. So I quit and moved on. I was doing the job of 3 people and was burnt out. Losing the technical help of a lead scientist was the last straw. People were surprised and asked where I was going to so they can come with me. So I did and brought a few key people with me. So after losing 5 lab scientists, they were scrambling to hire more. Unfortunately for them, this is a unique field with a small pool of qualified talents, and word spread. Last I heard, the microbiology soup retired, and I'm thinking of bringing the blood bank soup with me. New director is on PTO, so the lab is running on its own with extreme short staffing and zero operational and quality oversight. They have a very realistic possibility of shutting down the hospital doors, or at the very least turn away ambulances because the lab cannot provide services to the ER with a good turnaround time for accurate results. Turning away ambulances comes with CMS fines and investigation. I hear about this all the time. It's too bad that labor costs are the first thing listed on paper in budgeting, and those are the easiest costs to cut. To cut costs elsewhere, you have to work hard. But now it'll be very difficult for them to replace lost employees. Replacing one MLS is a complicated process. Replacing 5? Almost impossible with a tainted reputation. And that's freaking awesome. I love justice. Subscribe, hit the like button, and have a nice day.